Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube video. Today I'm going to be building a restaurant for my Newcrest Save File. So this is my first time actually building a restaurant in The Sims 4. I had only just got the Dine Out pack, I think the day that I built this, so I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So this restaurant here is owned by one of the families that I have in my save, the Kenny family. And they live in Newcrest as well, and I'll be building their house shortly so I can share that with you. But at the moment I have just built the restaurant that they own. And this is my first time ever building a restaurant, so I wasn't really sure what type of restaurant I wanted it to be. I knew that the Kenny family were quite kind of rich. I was going to put them in the more richer part of the neighbourhood. So I wanted the restaurant to be kind of fancy, but I wanted it still to be a place that you could bring like any of your Sims, and it wasn't too fancy that you couldn't bring your Sims to it. So I made it kind of like an industrial modern kind of build, and with a lot of like greenery and stuff in the patio place. Yeah, the layout of this was there's mostly outside seating, which is covered, which you can see here, but there is some seats inside. In total there I think is 35 seats for Sims to be able to sit at, so it's a great place. You could bring your families to eat here. So as you can see, I'm just working on the outside now. I decided to use the brick from Dine Out, and I decided to also kind of as you can see, go for like a more modern type of style. And it has the porch there, and it has also the other porch where it's used for eating outdoors, and as you'll see I'll begin to furnish that in a little bit. And I really wanted to have some kind of black accents in this build, as you can see from the columns and the foundation and the doors and windows, that I wanted to have like a darker accent because I wanted to make it look a bit more industrial. And you can see that I'm trying to find a sign now to put at the front of the restaurant, because I always find it really hard to find a good sign, because I feel like we're kind of limited in signs, and it's really hard to make some community lots because I feel like we don't have enough signage, or because I don't want to keep on reusing the same ones. So I managed to find one that I thought worked quite well, and here you can see I'm doing the bathrooms now, and I wanted to use the cubicles from Discover University, because I think they're really handy for community lots, and honestly they fit quite well into this space, so I thought why not. And I think they're really handy because I think it makes the lot more realistic than just making cubicles with walls, because honestly it takes up a lot more space and it just doesn't look as good. So I try to use those cubicles as often as I can. And I wanted the bathroom to be quite fancy as well. I used some really nice pretty Dine Out tile, and I used some nice plants from Dine Out as well. And as you can see here, I'm just putting lots of signage and stuff outside as well, like menus and stuff. I definitely wanted it to be very have a lot of menus and look really like a restaurant, not just some kind of house with a big outdoor seating. I really wanted you to know from a while out that it was a restaurant. And I also have at the moment here, you can see I have light flooring, like a light wood, but I do actually swap that out for a darker wood later on in the video because I just thought it suited more. So when I started adding in the tables, I thought I think a darker wood floor would match them more and complement it more. As you can see now, I've started working on the actual kitchen area. So at the start I was just going to have one big room, but in the end I decided that I wanted to have 2 rooms so I can kind of fit more stuff in, because like I said, this is my first time making a restaurant, so I didn't really know what was required or what I should add. So I have one room which is kind of, I'm guessing the room where they'd the waiters and stuff would get the meals before they take it out, and then the back room is where the food is prepared. And I used the bb.NAPE unlock gameplay entitlements cheats to get those counters from the base game, because they match the chef station quite well, and I thought it made it blend in a lot more than if I was to use a different counter. And I really like the look of them as well, because they do look like something that you would find in a restaurant with a steel counter. I also thought that splitting it into 2 rooms was a good way to divide the space and make it look a bit more realistic, because I know in real life that you wouldn't just have one room at the back. As you can see, I'm just moving on to the to the dining arrangements now. So I really wanted to try and use the booth seating because I've never used it before, and I honestly thought this was a great place to use it. So I used it in a black swatch, which you'll see in a couple minutes, and I really actually think it looks quite nice. I wanted to go for, like I was saying, a more black and kind of darker colour scheme inside and both inside and outside, because I thought it made the build look a bit more industrial. And also you'll see the tables that I use, they match the ones that are in the industrial loft kit, I think. I don't have that pack, but I thought they did look quite industrial, and it was definitely the kind of vibe I was going for in this build. So I thought I was a good place to use them. Also, I just really like the way they look. I love the way that they have the kind of wood looking on the table as well, but it doesn't look like too detail-y. Like, it's just the right amount of detail. And as you can see, I was mostly looking quite bland at the moment, and there wasn't much colour in it, so I decided to add in a couple of paintings which have kind of blue accents in it. So that was the colour I mostly used in it. It was a very like wooden black and also this kind of blue greeny accent, especially on the porch. It's very black wood and also lots of green, because I decided to add in lots of like potted plants. There's also this divider from Eco Lifestyle, which I used quite a bit in it. It's like has a wooden frame around it, and it has pieces of like ivy in the middle of it, and I thought it was one of the prettiest items that actually came with Eco Lifestyle, but I've just never had a chance to use it, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity. So you might see it in a second now. I place it just over the fence to give it a bit more detail and to add more kind of greenery and make it look a bit more natural. And I definitely wanted this to look like a really like nice restaurant that you'd actually like to come and visit in real life, not only in The Sims. And also, you might have seen earlier that I'm doing this weird trick with the fence where I keep on drawing up with it. I did this because I don't really like the posts on this fence. I just don't think they look very modern or look very nice in general. I just don't like the way they look. So there's a trick you can do where you connect, you draw a line up from every post and then you draw it back and then the post disappears. And I much prefer this look. I think it looks really nice. I honestly think it's like, because otherwise you'd have to buy packs such as Get Together to get just a clear glass fence, and honestly I think this trick is so handy, and it's a bit fiddly sometimes. As you can see, I wasn't able to do it on all sides of the fence because it kept on glitching out, so I just used a half wall in some sections where it wasn't working, but honestly I think it was worth it just to try it out. And I'm now going to be working on the outside a bit more. I wanted to seem very like it was a community lot quite a bit, so I wanted to add some cars, and I wanted to add some a lot more landscaping as well than I had at the moment. So I thought adding a couple cars in would definitely, when you saw it, you'd think, oh yeah, that's a place you can come and visit with your Sims to instead of like it being a house. So I had to open debug. I could have sized up the cars, like the toy cars, but I thought the debug ones honestly look a lot more realistic. And they're also the right size to begin with. And I also, so as you can see, I'm heading back to the kitchen now because I wanted to add a little bit more detail into it. So I decided to add in a couple things, like I decided to add in an island counter in the more kitchen part of it, and I decided to put a couple sinks in there because I thought that might be handy. I'm not sure if they actually use them in The Sims, but I thought just for realism purposes as well that it would just look a bit better. And I also went around and added some clutter into it. For example, there's a couple pots and pans, some little jars of different, I think, vegetables, like there's some pickled peppers or something in it. I'm not completely sure, but I just thought it added a bit of realism to the restaurant. And I also added in a couple menu boards just to kind of show the chefs, okay, this is what you're going to be making today. I know it's not actually works in The Sims, but I just thought for realism as well. I also went around and added these little menus to the tables. I'm not sure if it's up yet, but I went around and added these little menus to the table, also again just for more realism and more clutter, just to make it look a bit better, I thought, honestly. The Sims don't use them, but I thought it just really just made it look like a restaurant even that bit more. And one thing I really liked was outside, you might see it now in a second, there's a little box for the menus, and honestly I see that in so many restaurants, and like I think genuinely that was like one of my favorite items from the pack, because it's genuinely just so realistic, and I think it really adds that like bit of detail to any restaurant that you're making. Also, I added a couple lot traits to this lot to honestly just add a bit more detail and then a bit more interest. One of them I added was party place, so that means parties will go better in this place. So I was thinking if you wanted to hold like a dinner party or a birthday party, or like, I don't know what other type of party you'd have, but whatever type of party, if you wanted to throw it here, that means it would go a bit better and you have more of a chance of getting the rewards. So I thought that might actually just be handy. And honestly, for my own gameplay, I know that I will try to bring my Sims here for like birthday parties, like so I'll try to bring my Sims here for birthday parties and stuff. So I think honestly this would just be really handy in most gameplay. And also, after a bit of playtesting, I realised that a couple things weren't working, so I don't think I have every single one of the details in this thing, because I had to add a little kind of back little patio where the chef and stuff can actually access the kitchens, because as if you can see now, I don't actually have a way to access it. So I add a couple little doors in, and I add a little like back patio, and I added in like a dumpster from Eco Lifestyle. So as you can see, the video is just coming to a close now. So without further ado, I'm going to pop into the game and we can tour this in real life so you can see what it looks like up closer, because I know in speed build it's kind of buzzing around a bit and it's hard to actually get a sense of what's going on sometimes. So here's the finished product. This is what the restaurant looks like from outside. At the moment it's evening time, but I thought that looked the best because I love the way like the candles looked on the tables and stuff. I wish we could paint ceilings, but nothing much we can do about that at the moment. So if we head inside, here is the box I was telling you about with the menus. I just feel like that's so realistic. And there's a table there with a menu on it. And these are the ivy things I was talking about. I just think they're so pretty, and like any excuse to use them really. So here we are going inside. You can... it's glitching out there I think, but I'll show you that in a minute. So if you can see here, there's some seating there, there's some seating down here as well. This music, I think it plays jazz, so that's quite nice. Here's a painting. If we just go through here, we go to the bathrooms. Honestly, they're just quite plain, but I do think they're quite nice actually. And this is all 100% usable. I've tested it all. If you go through here, we go out to the little patio section where there's more seating, and like I said, there's room to sit 35 Sims here, so there'll be tons of space for all your Sims. So if we go through here, this is where the restaurant staff will take your order. I don't know why it was glitching out there that you couldn't see them, but it does work. I have tested this, so I liked the way that this looked here as well. I like the way there's kind of like a little hidey hole to look out, and I've locked this here so only restaurant staff can get in, to make it like more realistic so random people don't come in. We go back here to the restaurant, to the kind of kitchen sections. This is I think where they'd like, finish off the dishes, but like this isn't really where they prepare them. Then if we go through here, we can see this is where they actually like cook the dishes, I think. And then I wanted to have a menu board so that the chefs would know what they're making. Obviously that isn't what actually happens in The Sims, but I just thought it was more realistic, and I just added a couple little like cluttered details like these olives and stuff. I just thought it made it look a lot more realistic. And yeah, if we go back through here, I can show you that little like back patio I was talking about that I didn't actually include in the speed build because I forgot about it. If we can see it there. It's very simple. It's not much added to it, and then there's a little dumpster there as well. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've any comments or suggestions about what type of videos you'd like to see next, I'd love to hear them in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know I can make more videos like this, and thank you so much for watching. I'll be coming out with more videos for my Newcrest Save File very soon, so I'll see you next time. Bye!